So I think UI stuff is kind of fun sometimes and not so fun some other times. For whatever it's worth, as far as UI in terms of like buttons and text input and all that stuff in my game goes, I've actually created my own kind of miniature GUI system, which I modeled after HTML as best I could, because that's just what I'm used to. So all my layouts are usually using like tables and putting basically boxes and text inside of them. And I do have text input with wraparound and cut and paste and the whole 9 yards, just because I needed it for one game, which I haven't released yet. And once I got going with it, well, I kind of got carried away and just added in all the features. And so one of the great things about Ludum Dare is that it inspires me to release open source stuff from time to time, which I think is really good to do. And I really want to release this toolkit as open source so other people can use it, because I think it could be pretty useful for someone who's doing like a OpenGL based game. So, one comment to GB is that, and it's a question, hence the two. I'm curious about using test-driven development in games. Now, I do that too, but only on my network code, where I'm actually testing to make sure all the network code like works together magically when I've got multiple threads grinding away and doing stuff. When, for the rest of my games, I don't do any test-driven development. I just code it up and hope it works, and I play the game and I see that it does work, or I see that it doesn't work, and then I fix it based on that. Whereas the networking stuff is so crazy, I figure just the test-driven development is just a good way to make sure it works. So I'm curious, I was under the impression you were making a single-player game, so I'm curious as to what and why you're testing whatever you're testing. The other thing I was curious about is I remember reading on your blog, GB, something about the object component model, which sounded really interesting, but the post was, I think, 35 pages long, and I would rather learn about it in a 3-minute video segment. And maybe you could sort of wave your hands around, and sometimes waving hands makes things make more sense to me. So I'm curious about that, because I am finding that some of my code right now is starting to get a little bit into a bit of a mess, because I'm adding features onto a game code base that I made 3 years ago, and it's getting a little out of hand. So I'm looking for some help here.